At the 2018 New York Comic Con, I sat down with several members of the cast of Anna and the Apocalypse, including Ella Hunt, Malcolm Cumming, Sarah Swire, Christopher Leveaux, Ben Wiggins, and Marli Sui, to discuss their new Christmas zombie musical, which hits theaters November 30th, opening wide on December 7th. The cast chats about learning the song and dance numbers, the similarities between musicals and horror films, risque lyrics, and the fickle nature of on-set friendships. How did you get involved in this?
I lived in Scotland for years and years and years and years. I went to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. I studied there. I just kind of knew some of the people. I met John once by accident, and then 2 years later he showed up on the other side of a Skype screen, and I was like, I know you. That's the short story.
Did you get involved first as a choreographer or as an actress?
As an actress, and then the opportunity came around to also choreograph it, and I screamed yes, and it's turned out.
And she was the dopest choreographer.
Thank you very much.
It was so good.
Yeah, I was very impressed when you said that 10 minutes before basically you had to practice. I was like, wow, because it looks great, especially Hollywood Ending. It's a great scene.
Hollywood Ending was the only one that we had a bit more time with. We had like 2 days.
Filming, yeah. But it was... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Sarah didn't actually have the dancers till like quite late on. So
I didn't have the dancers until the morning of. So we just...
The vision.
Yeah, oh my God. Wow. I was there a week before shooting started by myself in the school, and I filmed myself doing all the sections and stitched it together, just like going like 100% for every single section, and created this like 3-minute long montage that was sent to the students to watch and learn. Of course, no one's going to try and learn that. They go, we'll get it, and then they show up, and you teach them all everything, and it was wild. It was a roller coaster for sure.
It was overwhelming though, because you looked at Sarah and you were like, oh, Sarah's the actress, and then I'm also the choreographer. Oh, okay, blimey. And then suddenly she has this belting voice, and you're like, bloody hell, triple threat.
This is very nice. What a great interview, guys.
So I'm going to try to bounce around a little bit. Marli, when you got your song for the first time, what were your reactions to the lyrics of that song?
I think Tommy and Roddy, like in the audition, we were all, it was a kind of a workshop audition, and they brought us down for just the bits. So they were like, we've kind of half written this song that Lisa's going to sing. So I didn't have it before the audition. So it kind of got me to sing it on the spot. So I didn't really take in what I was saying until then I got the part later, and then I really heard the song and was like, wow, it's going to be fun. And then in the studio when we were actually recording it, I was chatting to Tommy and Roddy about all the different innuendos. I was like, so come on Santa, is that like Santa's coming? Like I was trying to figure out all the different innuendos in it. It's really
this
fun.
Was the loss of innocence all the time.
I really want the sprinkle cookie.
And so your song, Soldier at War, that was obviously a challenging song. You know, the notes in there, you had training before this, obviously.
Ben always talks about it being a challenge, but then he's always good at it every time he sings it.
Honestly, I prepping for that song, I was in London in my house just going trying to get these notes out, and then trying to belt it and just going, oh my God, this is going to be incredibly difficult. And I did have a few singing lessons with this amazing guy in London, and then being up in Scotland, being supported by Tommy and Roddy, it was just like, hey, try this, try that, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I think so much of it is the nerves, and I don't know if you guys feel the same, but the nerves just immediately tighten you up. And if you don't think you're going to hit it, if you have that moment thought going, I have to back out, your whole body just sort of recoils and you miss it. And it's just having that confidence to be able to go and then go for it. But yes, it was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. It was fun to do.
So one of the things I thought was interesting about the movie, there's these little notes about technology being a problem for you when you become too dependent on it. Was that an intentional thing to you, as you were going along, or is it just they happened to come up in the story?
Definitely intentional. I think connectivity and the impact of our phones on us as a society and to young people was a thread that when I watched it, I was really proud that we'd made a movie that talked about those things, because it's such a big thing.
Yeah, but it's not even to the point now where it's like it's a topic of discussion that people are wanting to have and need to have, but like it's almost like it doesn't need to even have. We don't even need to have a conversation about it because it's just a consistent thing in our lives. Like to not include that would be a disservice to like reality. Yeah.
And it's also not just kids. You go on the tube in London and there are no faces. It's just this thing. My dad always calls it a growth on your hand because you just never lose it.
Yeah. But no, I think it was very purposefully done, and I think I always felt like Chris had particularly really thought about the impact of his phone, because you had your phone with you the whole time. Like your phone was
your your weapon, basically. Isn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it could become condescending as well, because it's, at the end of the day, people who are in their 20s, 30s, writing about something that kids are experiencing, so there was a danger of it being condescending, but it wasn't, and it felt like a very, I think they dealt with it well, as well.
Was it difficult playing these characters in essentially two worlds? You're playing them in this world of the horror story and then the world of the musical.
I think horror and music both have a similarity in that they both elicit a very visceral feel, and so they're just, both of them are about enhancing the character's experience. But I felt like, I mean, we talked about this in the panel, but we were so rooted in wanting to play it for real and to portray everyone's emotions honestly, that didn't become too much of an issue.
I think it's that thing when you really consider it, like the scope for naturalism in acting and performing is actually huge, because you see people experiencing this vast swathes of emotions, and especially if people are put under pressure, and that's the biggest thing about the horror aspect of this is the minute that zombie outbreak happens, everybody is under this immense pressure to survive, and that pushes the boundaries of how you act and react as humans. And as you know, so that's some of the most potentially unbelievable things happen in the school, is these parents are reacting because they can't control their emotions, and it's sort of left up to this group of friends to take on that mantle and to keep pushing forward and to keep driving towards their destination, towards their goal, and essentially driving the narrative of the story. And that's really what pushes what the horror pushes to. And then the musical aspect of it just allows us to express those inner monologues as characters, and I think hopefully for the audience that's an enjoyable thing, because they're getting
I loved
so much
about
more.
Like the combination of lyrics and melody was that the lyrics were so much an extension of what it felt like we were all feeling, and the melodies, dependent on what moment we were on in the film, really set the tone. It was I love working with music in that respect, and like even when I'm doing things that aren't musicals, I love to imagine what music might be behind something. So I think we all had fun playing that.
Yeah. We start with the core four in the movie, and then the outsiders, Nick and Steph. Did you do that method thing of keeping them separate?
Do you know what? We had 2 weeks rehearsal where all 6 of us were like best friends, made friends so fast, and then on Hollywood Ending, we had Ben met his crew, which was the other guys.
God.
So he was like our best friend until 20 minutes into shooting Hollywood Ending. He was sitting at a different table then, and he wouldn't talk to us.
The minute Ben got his cronies, he kicked us to the
We were like, and he was like, no, didn't see it.
Marli and I were living together, so we genuinely became best friends. And I think we all became
best friends.
Like, it was just
We were sorry.
No,
We were filming in a school, and we had our green room, meeting room in the school, so we were always together. It wasn't like we were separated in different caravans and the production office was separated. We were, every one of us, together. So even if we weren't in scenes together, it was like we were hanging backstage at the theatre. So it just enabled us to get to know each other.
I also think we're a crew and group of creatives that are all relatively young, and this was one of our first things for a lot of us, and I think the way the set felt in terms of its atmosphere was completely different to anything I'd worked on. In terms of that, there was no hierarchy, and so often there is with that thing of the actors are all off in separate trailers, and the crew don't have dialogue with the actors and vice versa, and it wasn't like that at all on this. So I think it was like a festering petri dish of friendship.
What a weird description of something positive.
That's fitting for the movie, I think. When you had scenes with Headmaster Savage, he exists on a different plane versus the rest of the character. He's on a heightened reality of super villainy. Was it hard to maintain with him? It seemed because he was ridiculous as a character.
He was great. He just tried things constantly. A lot of his lines are improvised lines. that he was like, I'm gonna say this, and we're like, okay, Poke, you do what you gotta do. Okay, Poke. And like the scene with him, like choreographing him in the kitchen, he was like, I'm gonna do everything. I'm like, you want to slam stuff, you want to kick stuff, you want to bang on those grates? He's like, yeah, we're gonna do everything. So we just like spent this like afternoon just like seeing what we could like throw and like wheel around, and yeah, it was fun.
And we were acting across from zombies as well, so he was really just an extension of that. He was the real live version of the zombie. And so it didn't feel like that to us at all. It was just someone who had this oppressive presence on us, and we just needed to fight back.
Favourite line of the film.
Yes.
Pudding.
Yeah, he does it so well.
This obviously has all the makings of a massive cult hit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Like just you were saying, the song Savage sings at the end, it felt so Rocky Horror.
Yeah, totally.
But what is the song you think is going to be the one that people are going to remember in the end?
See, this is the thing of like from before we started shooting, from the first time I read the script and heard the songs, I've like basically gone through a different song being my favourite, and like just gradually through it. Like at first, Soldier at War, when I was reading it, I really thought that was John's song at first, because I was like, I wasn't that far through the script, I was just listening to it, and I was like, this is amazing. Yes, John turns it around, and then he becomes and then I'm looking through the script, and John doesn't.
Screw you, Nick.
John doesn't sing that. Well, that's fine, you know. Nick's been cast. Fine then.
For me, it was
but then it just totally changes, and especially the day we came in and we watched Marley perform Lisa's Christmas
so
song.
amazing.
It was just hilarious.
That was my favorite day.
Even the song,
scene
the sort of the
fills
song
me
from the beginning, What a Time to Be Alive, is such
It's
an
so
earworm.
catchy,
It just gets stuck in my head.
Human
all the
Voice is
time.
my current favourite song.
Human Voice has always been my favourite, and I was so excited when I watched the film, because like I'd known what the four of us were doing in the bowling alley, but I didn't know what Marley and Mark Benton were doing in their scenes. And John had been really specific on the day we were shooting it about that he wanted the atmosphere and the vibe on set to be low. He didn't want us to be overly messing around between takes. He wanted us to feel really in the darkness of it.
Yeah.
And then when we watched the film, it was like everybody had moments where they had tears in their eyes. It's a total change there's like a total shift, and we shot it on different days, and I was so overwhelmed by like how all of us had sat in that darkness. And I think that's why it's such a powerful song. It's about what we were talking about earlier about connectivity. It always moves me.